Did your previous person not tell you? No, not at all. We had no idea because it wasn't zoned properly. It wasn't grandfathered in. So with that, what we've been able to then since do is we've taken that person and we're working with the city, and we have a really good way of probably overcoming it and making it work. But it's only because knowing what to say and what to do. And it's just so many people think, oh, house hacking is easy. I could just find something with a basement apartment and be done.
Yeah.
It's so much more complicated. It's deceivingly more complicated because so many people, I'll send them properties and they'll be like, oh, I just found that on Zillow. I'm like, well, yeah, it is publicly listed. It's not like it's a secret.
Yeah.
But they'll send me some that they found. They're like, why didn't you send this one? And I'm like, oh, great question. It's because this is not going to be okay with the city. And like, there's just so many little things that you need to be aware of to make sure that you're not buying, a headache, but you're actually buying something that could be sustainable long-term.
Yeah. And that brings up a good point about what actually qualifies for a house hackable or a 1007 appraisal worthy type of a loan, right? So has to have a separate entrance, has to have an extra parking spot, off road.
I was going to say it has to be off street.
The road.
Here
Thank
we
you.
go.
Yep. Has to have its own
I've
cooking.
run into that one.
Yeah. Has to have its own cooking area. Now that doesn't mean it has to be a gourmet kitchen.
Yeah, that's a gray area.
Yeah, it's a gray area,
It
but
could be a hot plate.
it can, or
Like it could be a hot plate.
or an air fryer.
No
right?
kidding. An air fryer works?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then it has to have its own bathroom, right?
Yep.
And then the major one you just brought up is the city has to approve it.
Correct.
Right. And so those are some options there. And oftentimes that can just be going to the city and applying for an ADU certificate. Right. So we've run into situations like that where they have to go to the city and either get it re-registered because the current owners, let that expire, or get it for the first time. But that's just a stepping stone, and that's where we can navigate them to ensure that this is not just going to help you get qualified today, but that you don't have to kick your renters out in the future because you got caught.
Well, and then get sucker punched with the whole mortgage you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
I have a follow-up on that because some people don't understand the difference between a legal ADU and a mother-in-law apartment. So can you just confirm with the appraisal and everything, a mother-in-law apartment, that does not mean it can count?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so that's where that legal ADU side comes in and approval from the city. So a mother-in-law apartment is great if it's like a family member that's living with you. But if you're getting rental income, they have that separate car. There is a clear distinction that it's a separate dwelling. So things that make it a separate dwelling would obviously be that separate entrance. But then it's also blocked off from the main house. Yep. Blocked off means it can lock from both sides, right? So just like a basement door at the bottom of the stairs, that's lockable. That makes it a separate entrance, a separate dwelling. And so that's the difference between a mother-in-law apartment versus a legal ADU that I can actually count as income.
Because you're not blocking your mother-in-law off from accessing your part of the house.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
And I have a quick story to add to this. So there was a real estate agent. Again, I'm not trying to shame them per se, but it's just a good example of being a special.
It's a good thing to just keep in mind.
Yeah, and it's also to protect them. So they bought a home. It was a flip. They partnered with someone and they advertised it as a house hack. And then it was in a very popular town to live in, but it was caught very fast that it was actually only a mother-in-law apartment. It was not zoned for an ADU. So they actually listed it incorrectly, had to fix it, redo it all, and that totally condensed the amount of buyers that could actually buy this because house hackers wanted it, but when they found out it wasn't legal, they're like, nah, actually, I don't want that headache. It's actually a mother-in-law apartment. So it's just important to make sure you do your due diligence because, like you said, just because someone on Zillow says, hey, check out this house hack, doesn't mean you can actually house hack it.
Yes.
I think that's a really valid point. You have that due diligence period in your contract for a reason, right? And so going through, hey, what are the things I should be doing my due diligence on? It's not just, is the house livable?